Hello and welcome to this new series on Exchange for Media, which focuses on events, experiential marketing. And today we have with us President of EMA, Mr. Samit Garg, to talk about evolving landscape of the event industry, the momentum it's building, and what the road ahead looks like in 2025 and 2026. We welcome you here today, sir, on our very first episode.
Thank you. Thank you so very much to Exchange for Media. Thank you, Jaspi, and everybody else in your team.
Thank you so much for taking time for us. So, Samit sir, firstly, tell us about your journey so far. How it has been.
Oh, my journey
In
has been
short,
long, and no, it's been a long journey, and it's a long story. It's
oh,
it's it's not very simple to kind of abridge it and talk about everything
yeah,
in just a jiffy. But what should I say? We started this journey almost 25 years ago, and that was a time when the industry was very different. It was in its very nascent stage, and brick by brick, a lot of people who have been 25, 30 years old in the business tried to get things in order.
yeah,
And today, as everybody knows, events and experiences have become an absolutely integral part of everybody's life today, whether it is the personal space, whether it is the brand space, whether it is also the government space. So we are glad to have played some role in getting the industry to wherever it has come today.
that's great. So, since taking over as president of EMA, what would you consider your most meaningful achievements, both internally in the association and externally for the industry purpose?
That's a difficult one to answer, Jaspi, but there are a few things that we, as the National Executive Council, which is called the NEC at EMA, which is 13 of us as principal office bearers today.
Yeah,
We take pride in the fact that we've been able to effectively carry forward the lamps and the torches that were lit up by our previous leaders. बहुत बार ये देखा गया है कि पहले किसी ने कोई काम किया होता है, फिर जब नया आता है उसको पहले रद्द करता है और नए काम शुरुआत करता है. तो हम लोग ने फॉर्चुनेटली वैसा कुछ नहीं किया. So that's something that we take a lot of pride in, that anything which was instrumental, which was important, that was initiated by our predecessors, we've carefully been able to take it forward. And the other thing that I think in our time frame of office has been received very well by the people is the setting up of Korea, which is the Congress of Regional Event Associations, where we've been able to get the national ecosystem of stakeholders across various regional associations. I think now we're almost 25 regional associations who are a part of the Korea network. So that is something which has been extremely very big and also very instrumental, because today now when we go as a unified industry body, we proclaim with a lot of confidence that we collectively represent the interest of almost 4,500 organized event companies across the country. And besides that, we've been extremely proactive in making sure that we become the body of advocacy, the body that is talking policy with the government. और वो आप लोग को दिख ही रहा है. Every month or every 2 months, you hear about some large EMA engagement with some higher ups in the Indian government. So that is something that's fortunately been able to come on track. Scaling up of endeavors and initiatives is something that we've always believed in. And if you would have seen the last 2 editions of Imagine, especially have grown multi-dimensionally in size, in terms of participation, in terms of scale. तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो हम लोग effectively कर पाए. And I would thank all the support that we've got from our members and obviously from the office bearers that are working together.
That's great. So, with the recent global conflict, like the war thing that just happened recently, it directly impacted the events and tourism. What is EMA doing to build, long-term safeguards for the Indian events in this ecosystem, basically?
I don't think so. EMA is that big that it can create safeguards to natural disasters and such eventualities because ये तो किसी के हाथ में नहीं है.
Right.
And I don't think so that there is possibility of creating any safeguard against these things, especially when it comes to national security. Unfortunate, whatever happened, happened, but fortunate is the fact that it was very short-lived. So, जो नुकसान हो सकता था, वो नुकसान हुआ नहीं. So, God has been kind.
जैसे मतलब revenue losses and insurance gaps have hit agencies hard due to sudden cancellations basically. So are you seeing any active dialogue with the government for policy level financial protection or relief in that terms?
See, in such situations, what is the dialogue that one can have? There is no dialogue that anybody can have. If there is a breakout of a pandemic, if there is an earthquake, if there is another form of a natural disaster, or if there is something like this, no dialogue is going to bear any relevance. Nobody is going to क्या कर लोगे आप? तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसमें इस तरीके का कोई conversation possible है. The only thing that I think we as torch bearers of the industry can possibly do is to find out our own means and creating safety nets that we think can protect us, which could be through more careful planning, through being more judicious about understanding the environment, the political landscape, the socio-economic landscape, and then take informed decisions. And also possibly the fact that how I think mitigation of risk is something that we as an industry by large have not really started to look at in the right light. And such episodes when they go by, वो हमको थोड़ा सा सिखाते हैं that risk assessment is also important. And one should keep those aspects in mind when taking decisions, big financial decisions, especially as far as organizing events are concerned.
Yeah, because a lot of weddings and conferences have been cancelled due to the war theme, destination. Destination basically like Turkey and Baku because the boycott thing has happened from India's end. So how do you see this disruption, impacting the Indian planners? How EMA is offering any guidance or alternatives regarding this?
I have a very different take on this.
Okay.
See, as far as weddings going outside India to places like Turkey and Azerbaijan is concerned, I don't think so. Azerbaijan has hosted many Indian weddings. Azerbaijan has been more of a MICE destination. So definitely the MICE business that has been going to Azerbaijan is affected and it is good. See, event postpone हो जाएगा, event cancel हो जाएगा, या event की destination change हो जाएगी, but वो सब बड़ा short-lived है. More important in this context is the overall sentiment that got aroused, and it is glad to see that the sentiment has been more or less unanimous. It was widespread because anybody who's supporting an enemy nation is indirectly not a friend. So that is a good sentiment that we have seen emerge in the last couple of weeks. As far as Turkey and weddings are concerned, I think since the Prime Minister started the Wed in India campaign almost 2 years ago, 90% of that outflux of wedding business from India to any other country had automatically stopped. तो कोई बोले कि आज कम हुआ है, ऐसा नहीं है, ये तो पहले से कम हो चुका है. तो पहले अगर 50 शादियां बाहर होती थी टर्की में साल की, तो अब शायद 5 होती थी. वो 5 में से हो सकता है इक्का दुक्का इस टाइम पे हो रही हो जो कैंसिल हो गई होंगी. तो हवा ज्यादा है रियलिटी में इम्पैक्ट नहीं है।
So let's come, a little positive side. In your view, basically, what are the biggest strengths of the Indian event industry right now? I mean, how you're working to, amplify them globally, basically.
So there are two separate questions, Ojasvi, that you asked in this one question.
Yeah.
The strengths of the Indian events industry are different, and amplification of what India does best is another question altogether.
Yeah.
So as far as our strengths are concerned, I think we are extremely adaptable. We are extremely determined. We find solutions. एंड जब हमको एक चाह होती है कुछ करने की तो हम उसका कुछ ना कुछ तरीका निकाल के कर लेते हैं. And I have worked in almost 25 countries. This is something that I say with a lot of conviction and a lot of pride. That we will find ways of achieving what we want to achieve. And this resolve has also been strengthened by the current leadership and administration of our country. I think there is a lot of inspiration coming from there as well. कि भाई जब आपको कोई चीज करने की एक्चुअली इच्छा है तो आप उसको करने का रास्ता तो निकाल लोगे. And this is something which India actually stands very tall upon. Not many countries across the world have this kind of resolve. So that is one. And number two, I think we are an extremely creative indigenous system. We may take inspiration, we at times may copy, but by and large, most of the people in our industry are able to create and also co-create very well. So this is an era of collaboration that the industry has ventured into, and which is only building itself in leaps and bounds. So ये दो खास बातें हैं जो मैं बोलना चाहूँगा of or about the Indian events industry per se. Now, as far as carrying larger messages across the world is concerned, I think the one large message that the creative system or the creative economy of our country is taking globally is the fact that there is a lot of learning that is coming to us because of the ancient wisdom that our civilization has grown with, and we are adopting and becoming more progressive in that adoption of our cultural ethos to create larger stories for India and take them in a very effective manner to the world outside. So IMA today is very proud to express and say that it has been time, and it is now time, and we've already started work on that. We are taking brand India to the world.
That's we are looking forward to it. So sir, basically the event industry has historically, been dominated, if you see so. Under your leadership, is IMA taking any steps to create a more inclusive and supportive environment for women entrepreneurs in this time?
Good question, and the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So, there are some task forces within the IMA system.
Yeah.
And two of those task forces are extremely proactive on ensuring that there is more and more empowerment of women. There are more women that come forward in leadership roles and start taking more active responsibility. So, which is the We Care mission, which you are aware of. It was started almost, I think, 10 years ago. And now also the Artist Committee. So both of these task forces within IMA are very proactively working on this subject. And the results are very positive and are also very visible.
So for businesses in the live events and experiential space, what are your growth forecasts for the year ahead? And what categories or regions do you believe will lead the charge this year, basically?
So I personally feel that across the 5 pillars which make our industry, where sporting is one, MICE is one, corporate events is one, weddings is one, and government events. So these are broadly the 5 pillars across which the events happen. We should be able to grow at between 17 to 19%. And as far as region is concerned, I think the maximum growth will be exhibited by South. South is becoming more and more proactive, and they are also becoming larger in the way they have now started thinking and creating events. The various parts of South India, in terms of states, are also very actively working on developing more and more plausible destinations. This doesn't mean that work is not happening in the north. Some very large venues have come up in the north in the past few years. Some great hospitality units have also come up. But when you talk of relativity, growth in south is going to be more than the growth in the north.
So India is seeing a sharp rise in, IPs, intellectual properties, led events and festivals in this time. So how is IMA helping and protect and nurture homegrown IPs in a crowded marketplace?
See, IMA cannot directly help people grow IPs, but our help or our responsibility is actually, for us, a better word, comes into play here, where we are definitely taking steps to ensure that there is better talent, there is better skill set available, there is more knowledge sharing that is extended to people so that they can learn from each other, they can partner each other, which is where collaboration and relationships come into play. Originality of thinking is something important that we keep on talking about in most of our forums. So through communication, through workshops, through leadership summits, by engaging with experts nationally and globally, we are trying to change the mindset of our people and members. Because to develop more IPs, it is important that your mind starts to think differently.
Yeah.
Somebody who has been used to do commissioned events on a contractual basis, it requires a lot of effort to shift from there to then start doing things where there is a financial risk. There is also a risk of reputation loss. There is a risk of losing future. So उसके लिए ना ये सोच का परिवर्तन जरूरी है. And by doing different things around whatever I have just now mentioned to you, there is a lot of effort that is being made.
So you have spoken about, that India becoming a global destination for events. So what's the single biggest roadblock in getting there, and how does IMA plan to overcome?
I don't think so. There is a single largest roadblock. There are many roadblocks. Actually, roadblock is not the right word.
Yeah, I think
we are preparing ourselves to be able to get there. And so there is shift in policy. There is effort and investment in better infrastructure, connectivity, hospitality units, supply chain. There are many things that are simultaneously being worked upon, and it's a time-taking process. So today, if you draw out the map of the country, if you talk of wedding destinations, everybody thinks of Rajasthan, some people think of Goa, and some people have now started thinking of a few hills. And some people have started to think of the backwaters in Kerala. But India is much more than that. The problem is that people are not able to explore those possibilities because there is no connectivity, or the hotels don't exist there, or logistics are kind of difficult. तो उस पे काम हो रहा है, but ये परिवर्तन आने में थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा. I think the work that has started last year, one should be able to see that in 2026 you may possibly realize that there are 5 more destinations available. And in 2027, another 10 may get added. So, and as far as MICE is concerned, see, India now has a few very well curated, convention centers which are at par with the best globally. So the Geo Convention Center in Bombay, the new Pragati Maidan as Bharat Mandapam, the IICC as Yashobhumi in Delhi. So these are some classic examples of how infrastructure has been created in our country to match the international standards. And मजे की बात यह है कि अगर आज आप जियो कन्वेंशन सेंटर जाओगे तो साल भर की बुकिंग नहीं मिलेगी आपको. Yeah, and so is the case with most of the venues at Bharat Mandapam. So, which means that all of these efforts are now bearing fruit. People are consuming these destinations, these facilities at the national level. And because these places now exist, they are also attracting international events into India. The journey there is a little slow, but it will come about. It will come around.
Great. So what's your take on the tech part? I mean, hybrid events.
हाइब्रिड इवेंट्स तो अब कोई मायने नहीं रखते मेरे हिसाब से, ओजस्वी. वो तो एक क्या है, वो तबांधी चली थी बिकॉज बट वो खत्म हो गई. अब सी, we've realized, especially after the onslaught of COVID, all of us know that अब जिंदगी का कोई भरोसा ज्यादा है नहीं, तो अब तो जी लो. And so I think a lot of people have now started understanding the importance of that human connection. And everybody wants to just be out there and experience it, feel it. So that tactile and that emotional aspect, or that the concept of immersiveness, these things have really started finding value in people, or people have actually started finding value in them. So I could be wrong, but I don't think so that hybrid events की अब कोई मायने रह गई है.
So any upcoming collaboration lined up for IMA? Would you?
There are a few things which are brewing.
You can talk about the things that we talked about. You can tell us.
No, so IMA's collaborations are predominantly now happening in the space of the national governance. So there is collaboration happening there, where we are working very proactively with the center in the state. So those are partnerships of a different nature. IMA is also aligning its interests for cross-border exchange programs with similar institutions across the country, across the different parts of the world. So those things are brewing, but I may not be able to take specific names, unfortunately, for now.
So how do you see the event industry growth in terms of everything in upcoming, I say, 2 years?
See, as I said, we are looking at a growth of 17 to 19%. And this is something that I think on a year-on-year basis would continue to be seen for the next 4 to 7 years. Although 2 years down the line, I personally see that the demand is going to increase by almost 60 to 80%.
Wow.
So the demand will increase, but we will not be ready. We will not be ready because हम infrastructure create कर लेंगे, पैसे लगा देंगे, but human resources नहीं ला पाएंगे. And unfortunately, our business is still new, and the kind of talent that is required to be able to handle those opportunities doesn't exist. हम कितना भी effort करें उनको train करने के लिए, ये training curve अपने में थोड़ा सा लंबा है, because we are not a process-driven business, we are a creatively-driven business. So यहाँ तो आदमी experience और तजुर्बे से ही सीखता है. So that is where our curve will be a little different and very differently visible. On the X and the Y axis, we will actually see a crescent like this. Another 4 or 5 years, when we actually start climbing up again, as far as availability of the right talent pool is concerned. That is one of the major deterrents that I see in the growth. तो उस वजह से शायद जो ग्रोथ 30-35% हो सकती थी वो नहीं हो पाई.
So you mentioned that as you have, you just said it very recently, collaboration वाली question में that the government think. So you have worked with luxury brands and governments alike, two very different stakeholders. So how do you tailor experiential strategy for each without, compromising on creativity or commercial output, basically?
मुश्किल है, असंभव नहीं है, और we've learned it over a period of time. See, at the end of the day, one thing is common in both, and one needs to carefully understand that. In both the cases, we are creating experiences for a brand. In one case, the brand is maybe an individual, a high net worth individual, or a brand per se. On the other side is also a brand. The brand is a much larger brand, and that brand is called Brand India. So, in both those segments, the fundamental rule of operation is the same. कि मुझे इस ब्रांड के लिए काम करना है और मुझे इस ब्रांड की ऑडियंसेस के लिए एक्सपीरियंसेस क्रिएट करना है. नाउ द पर्पस, द मीनिंगफुलनेस एंड द ऑडियंस keeps on changing. So we just have to make sure that we are able to intelligently recreate, maybe co-create at times, the best plausible experiential solutions to be able to meet the micro and the macro objectives for the brand. सरकार के objectives फर्क होते हैं, state के objectives फर्क होते हैं, individual families के objectives फर्क होते हैं, एक corporate brands के objectives फर्क होते हैं. But overall, if one is able to understand कि कर तो आप सेम ही चीज रहे हो ना, it is just that your understanding of these few parameters has to be clear, and then the input of ingredients has to be re-engineered in accordance. So we have learned that over a period of time, and now we don't find it difficult at all.
That's great. So as a business leader, what's the most valuable lessons you have learned about selling intangible value, emotion, memory, impact in a world focused on numbers, I would say?
इसके बड़े सारे जवाब हो सकते हैं. And but again, there is one common thread. सपने देखना सबको अच्छा लगता है. तो हम कोशिश करते हैं कि हम सपने ही बेचें, and at least that is the route that we've been following. But कोशिश इतनी रहती है कि वो सपने ऐसे हों कि साकार किए जा सकें. And if one is able to do that, then what you just now said doesn't remain a problem.
Yeah, you're right. That's great. It was lovely having you here today. Thank you so much for your time, sir. It was our pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Ojasvi. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.